It is the day all been waiting for. It's the 2019 NHL draft is today, and I will be producing my mock draft, releasing it to you guys. Spent all morning on it, creating this. Hopefully it's going to be pretty accurate, give some good insight for the years to come, how these players will be. So, well, actually, first off, we're doing the Zion Williamson career mode in the background because I need to be able to somewhat read my notes. Here are my stats from last year: 16, 7, 1. I should be a starter. 2.18 goals against average, pretty good. Elite potential. And just look at this team, though. We got Alexis Lafreniere and Oliver Wahlstrom and Alex Turcotte, who I will get to in a little bit. But yeah, this team's gonna be sick in a couple years. So my first overall pick, New Jersey Devils will select. Scott, you want to list it off? Because I'm pretty sure you know too.
From the U.S. development system. Number 6, Jack Hughes.
Yes, it will be Jack Hughes. Hold up, I'm going to start this up.
Fuck, I love that.
Alright, so Hughes this year, he put up, altogether in his 2 years with the development program, he put up 228 points in 110 games. Over 2 points a game is really impressive at any level, but just at that level too, that's crazy. So then you go into what he's all about. He's a franchise player. I would say he's got the franchise potential in NHL, but
He's better than McDavid.
yeah, I don't know about that, but I wish. All right, we gotta get through this video, so we don't need the side talk. Thank you, Scott. But no, I'd say he's going to be really good. He has really good IQ. He could skate. He could shoot. He could make plays. And his ability to find holes throughout the defense is just unstoppable almost. I know he didn't have a great Worlds tournament, but he definitely has a lot of upside. And the Devils could use a center like him. They only have Hischier really, and for the future, I'd say they really only have Hischier because you got Zacha, who might be a winger. You don't know. He probably will be a third-line center, Zacha. And Zajac is going to be done in a couple years too. So, looking at the Devils for the future, I mean, they need a center. That's going to be, and also adding Jack Hughes will probably keep Taylor Hall. So, they can't mess this pick up. I definitely see them drafting Jack Hughes there. So next, we have the New York Rangers. This is, without a doubt, the easiest pick, because whoever the Devils do not draft, they will take either Hughes or Kakko, and in this case, it will be Kaapo Kakko. Kakko, he's pretty much 1B. Pretty much the same potential, I'd say, as Jack Hughes. He's a little bit bigger, well, a lot bigger, actually. He's got really good size. He used it really well. He had a great Worlds tournament. But in the Finnish Elite League, he produced 38 points in 45 games, almost a point per game, as an 18-year-old playing against grown men. That's really impressive. And he had 5 points in 5 playoff games. Really good. He produces really well. He's got a great shot. Able to move. He moves his feet, has a really good pace for his size. Obviously, elite speed, elite everything, I'd say. Could do just about everything. That's what you're looking for in the second overall pick. And oh, wow. Almost went in. And he's going to be a fit right in. They have a great core, I'm not going to lie, even as a Devils fan and a Leafs fan. They have a great core, the Rangers, of youth. Kreider, VC might be gone. Fast, Buchnevich, Hedel, Vitaly Kravtsov, and Namastakinov. Adding him in there for probably the next 10 years, I mean, that's going to be a really big piece. He's going to be the franchise player for the Rangers for the years to come. So next, third pick, again, a very tough pick because I'd say it's between two players, either Bowen Byram or Turcotte, and I will be going, I say the Chicago Blackhawks will go with Alex Turcotte. Turcotte, he is a really good two-way player, and when you have someone like Jonathan Toews already there, and I mean, why not have him come under Jonathan Toews? Come under Jonathan Toews, develop under him, follow his ways. That's going to be really beneficial to his development and the team for the years to come. They need a center. They're low on centers. And when you're weighing in him or Bowen Byram, I think he's better than Turcotte, or will have a better future and become a better player. But Turcotte is what they need. They don't need another defenseman. You look at the defensive core of the of the Chicago Blackhawks. They already have Adam Boqvist, Henry Jokiharju, Nicholas Biodin, and Ian Mitchell coming up, as well as some other starters right now like Forsling and don't put that in, free it. Forsling, Connor Murphy, and a couple other depth players that are going to be able for the years to come. So why would you draft another defenseman here? I know he is best player available, so that makes it, not that surprising if they would go with him here. But I feel like if you're going for a player that's going to be useful, player that's going to be useful, I would go with Turcotte here. Turcotte, in only 37 games, he did produce 67 points this year in the US U18 team. And he was pretty much a second-line center behind Hughes, but he did produce at a really high pace for the team. So I think he'll be going 3. And next up, I think another really easy selection. Actually, it's not that easy because wow, what a hit. They could use a center, the Avalanche, and I'm going to go with Scott, who do you think? Yes, Bowen Byram it is. I was watching film on. I didn't watch film on everyone, but Bowen Byram looks really, really good. People are comparing him to Drew Doughty. Great patience with the puck. He could play. He looks like a forward out there, playing defense, and reminds me a lot of what may be future defensive partner of Cale Makar. Ability to skate with the puck, great skater, can make plays. He could do it all on defense. They could use center though behind McKinnon, but his stats are really impressive. And the way he plays, I can't see him if he drops here. You can't pass on this kid. He had 71 points as a defenseman, and 26 were goals in only 67 games. That's incredible. Wow, right? Over a point per game as a defenseman. Oh man, get there. That's just crazy. Is that Hughes on D? No, I don't think so. So yeah, really, really promising prospect. He might be NHL ready already, but you're also considering their Kirby Doc. There you go. Foreshadowing to our. I think he is going to be our next pick. I need to check, but he might be. You're looking at the off season. They're already contemplating trading Tyson Barrie. So if you get rid of Tyson Barrie, you need someone to fill that position. And unless they get a defenseman back, I think they should get a forward back, get a second line center. Unless they get a defenseman back, they need another one to fill that hole. So Bowen Byram will be that perfect pick if he's still there. And there has been reports, just heard now, I didn't change it, my draft. There's been reports that Kirby Doc the Blackhawks have high interest in him. So, I wouldn't go with him there. He's really good, obviously, but I would take Turcotte over. But anyways, yeah, foreshadowing to our next pick, like I was saying. The LA Kings will select. Scott, who do you think it is? No. I mentioned foreshadowing to him.
Oh, I know. Ryan Suzuki.
No. He will be mentioned later as well. Alright, you just don't pay attention then. I'm kidding. Kirby Doc will be going to the Los Angeles Kings. Being completely honest, I wouldn't even be surprised if they go with Cole Caulfield. Take a risk, but I wouldn't even say it's a risk. But Kirby Doc's 6'4". Having a big center like that is just, that's a big asset for any team. He put up 73 points in 62 games with the Saskatoon Blades. He could play the body. He could do really everything. He's a good two-way, but what? The Blades, yeah. 6'4". As a center, that's really great size. Uses his body really well. He could skate at an elite level. He's got a hell of a shot. This is almost like a Kopitar in a way. It's kind of like if they, he could develop under Kopitar. He's got the size. He's got this, almost the same skill set. And this core that they already have is getting a little bit older. So they do have some decent centers already, like Kate Gable-Arty, Adrian Kempe, Akil Thomas, and Rasmus Kupari. But adding another one, and they could even switch these guys around. You don't pass on a kid like this. I feel like just to take some. may have a better goal scoring ability or whatever it may be. He's got the size, he's got all the assets you need for a great player in the future. So I see the Kings drafting him here. 6, who do you think the Red Wings select here? Alright, you're just in a different year. You're stoned out of your mind, aren't you? Anyways, the Red Wings will be selecting Dylan Cozens. Or Cousins. Cousins? Yeah, whatever. Cousins. I don't know. He's a 6'3" center, another big center like Doc. He put together 84 points in 68 games with the Lethbridge Hurricanes. He's got really good speed for his size. Oh man, I accidentally just sent the whole game. Nice. And he plays very physical, kind of like Kirby Doc, really similar to him, but he does also have great offensive abilities. It's a tough pick for Detroit. They could use a winger, they could use defenseman, they could use a lot of positions, or those two positions, but I feel like a center, adding another center to their core, really, really valuable. You need center depth. So, I mean, they're going to add it to an already great core down there with Rasmussen, Dylan Larkin, obviously, Athanasio, and Joe Valeno. So you add that to that core, it's going to be a really good center core to come. Move some people around if they have to. Valeno probably could play wing. It won't be a problem. I mean, having these guys, it's going to be a really, bright future for them if they could establish a center core. Next step would be defense. They could use some defensemen. I mean, last year, Scott, do you remember did they have a chance at picking Quinn Hughes last year, the Red Wings? I think they did. I think they passed. Wait, let me look up the 2018 draft. They could have used it. I'm not going to get into prior years, but they definitely could have used Quinn Hughes from last year's draft. That would have been a steal. But, no, yeah, so they could use a center. So I definitely see them going with him there. Add to that center core. I could see him going with Zegra here, but, I mean, wow, what a dish. Is that Eric Carlson. He's in with the Islanders. Go figure, right? No, the Red Wings did have a chance to pick Quinn Hughes, and they passed on him for Philip Zadina. And Adam Bachvist, too. They passed on Quinn Hughes and Adam Bachvist. That's questionable for the future. So, yeah. That's who I see the Red Wings picking. 7th overall. Scotty, who do you got? The Buffalo Sabres. Who do you think they're going with? Wait, who the heck? Is that Jack Hughes or Quinn Hughes on my team? Looks like one of them. Who do you think? Come on, you got this. I'm putting you on the spot. See if you might be able to figure it out. Alright then. You don't know? Don't. Yeah, you're right. No, you were wrong. The Buffalo Sabres will be selecting Cole Caulfield, baby. There's talks for some reason we've heard recently that I don't understand. Scott's favorite goalie is apparently not good enough for the Sabres. They're apparently looking at drafting for some reason, and they already have Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Good save. They already have their draft. They're thinking about drafting Spencer Knight, which I just don't understand. But you don't need a goalie, so why would you draft one? I don't know. That's the Buffalo Sabres for you. But anyways, I have them going with Cole Caulfield. You got an opportunity to draft an elite scorer like this. I mean, why would you pass on him? I mean, yes, you could say Zagarov. You could say maybe even a defenseman, add another one like Broberg or Matthew Boldy, a winger like that. But I think a goal scorer like Caulfield, that's just unprecedented almost. We haven't seen someone put the puck in the back of the net like him, in this going into a draft year. That's just, you can't pass up on him here when you need goal scoring. They could use defense, they could use goaltending, but I mean, having a forward like that for the future, yeah, you got Eichel, you have some good pieces up front, but adding an elite winger to go along Eichel or Middlestat for the years to come is important. So having Caulfield, big asset, and you also need, just to listen to his stats, he's only 5'7". Plays much bigger than that though. He put up 72 goals and 28 assists just this year, 100 points in 64 games with the US 18 team. Maybe a little boosted because he did have Jack Hughes on his line. But many of the, after watching some film on him, many of the plays were when he was actually in on a breakaway, or maybe when he beat the goalie short side. He could shoot. He could almost beat the goalie, I'd say, from anywhere, bomb circles and down. That's how good his shot is. He's a pure sniper. Great accuracy. He put up 14 goals in 7 games in the Worlds tournament. He could fly. He could do everything, I'd say. Not physically. He could do everything offensively. So I'd compare him to Alex DeBrincat. I haven't done player comparisons really, but he is like Alex DeBrincat. They said the same thing about his size, and look where he is now. So yeah, he's gonna be a really good pickup if they could get him. And adding him in with Middlestat and Eichel into a wing core that only has Sam Reinhart, Victor Olofsson, and Jeff Skinner and Alex Nylander. I mean, adding another winger would be really important for this franchise's future. Next, this is a really questionable one. These last 7, 8, 9, this is where it gets really hard because you got to limit it down. And now we get into a really questionable one. And I think I might be right on this one because I saw a report say that Edmonton will draft Philip Broberg if he's still available. So I have them drafting Philip Broberg for many reasons. One, look, if I'm them, I think maybe I do go with Broberg, but he is a risk. I think I'd go with Zegras here if he's available. But I see them drafting Broberg because they're known to make risky picks. I don't know why. They just love drafting. Other than Connor McDavid, which is a gimme, and Leon Draisaitl. They just love drafting this borderline, like, okay, they might be good, they might not. And they usually turn out to be busts. And I was thinking about giving them Vasily Podkolzin, but because, their experience with drafting bust Russians, like, Nail Yakupov. So, wingers too. Like, yeah, I was thinking about giving them Podkolzin, but I think they'll be smarter. And yeah, they could use a defenseman, but I think this pick is a little risky. Broberg is really good. Plays with Liam Hansen. Shout out. Reppin' Ramsey.
Just in case you're watching.
Yeah, just in case you're watching in Sweden. We want you back, by the way, if you are watching. Anyways, so yeah. Getting Broberg is a little bit of a risk. He hasn't, he's been okay in Sweden. 9 points in 41 games in a Swedish pro league called Alveskinen. I don't know how good that is, but it's decent. He is a great skater from reports I've heard, and I've seen him skate in film. A really great skater. I'd say he's probably one of the better ones in this whole draft class. He's up there with Hughes. So that's a great sign. If you could skate, you could do a lot of things, but the hockey IQ and decision making I've heard isn't the best. But wow, nice shot. He is a great puck-moving defenseman. He does have decent IQ, decent ability to make decision-making, but he's got to be getting to that next tier if he's going to be a great player. And, there's a lot of pressure going to Edmonton when they're expecting you to be a stud after all these years they've been crap. So he's going to have all the pressure in the world. That's why I'd say going with Zegras or Boldy might be the better decision here. You're going to get a center or a winger that's going to be playing with either McDavid or Draisaitl. So that's taking off a little bit of pressure. If you're a defenseman, your best D partner may be freaking Adam Larson, okay? Like, oh no, I get to play with this little crap the whole game, right? Like, I would not feel...
For Taylor Hall.
Yeah. Oh, so he's really good. Yeah, obviously. It's going to solidify the D-core. I'm not going to say their D-core is horrible. It's just not amazing. And they need to obviously get a really good goalie, and that doesn't seem like it's happening. They did have Cam Talbot, and then I don't know what happened to him. I love how I'm, making these saves, not even, focusing. It's kind of funny. Yeah, so, their D-core is decent. Adam Larson, Darnell Nurse, Clefbaum, Russell, Evan Bouchard coming up. So he would solidify it in a way. But I wouldn't be surprised if they go with a winger because they got the center depth. I wouldn't be surprised with a winger, but it looks like almost certain that they're going to go with Broberg here if he's available. Next up, the Anaheim Ducks are on the clock with the 9th overall pick. I just have heard that's a rumor throughout mock drafts, and even myself, I see it. They go with Matthew Boldier. Great two-way left winger. Uses 6'2" frame really well. Could do it all. They've said he's pretty much a Swiss Army knife. Could do everything. Of this draft class, he is really the Swiss Army knife. No really weakness, they're saying. So that's going to be a really plus for a big plus for a team that's losing Corey Perry to age, and even Getzlaf, who's getting older. Oh my gosh, where is? Oh my, get it out. So yeah, Boldy is really good. He had 81 points in 64 games. As I said, I didn't say this earlier actually, but I should mention there are a lot of US U18 players, Matthew Boldy being one of them. So he's going to add to a nice wing core of Nick Ritchie, Maxime Comtois, and Raquel. They need another winger, so adding him would be really nice. And he is potentially be a top 2-line forward. Vancouver Canucks. I think this is a steal of draft. Scott, who do you think it is? I think you might have an idea. Scott?
Are you kidding?
What just happened?
Oh my god. I almost just hit a walk-off over Bellinger's rocket.
Damn. Really hate to see that. Anyways, who do you think it is? Vancouver Canucks. I hope they don't mess this up. That's all I'm saying. If he's available, which I wouldn't be surprised if he isn't, but I think he might be available, given what team's interests are. But you never know. Maybe I think he could go beforehand. I don't know. Trevor Zegras will be going to the Vancouver Canucks. If he lands here, this is a steal. I think Vancouver's going to end up with a steal either way, because there's so much talent that ending up with a 10th overall pick, there's going to be a great player, which is crazy, and they're going to end up with him. So unless they screw this up, I mean, I see Zegras being a tremendous player. So he could play center or wing, elite two-way forward. And I mean, he put up 87 points in 60 games this year with the US U18 team. Great skater and playmaker. And the Canucks could use another wing, because he could probably play wing. They could use another wing alongside Pettersson or Horvat in the future. So maybe slot him into that first line with Pettersson and Besser in the future. I don't know. I mean, he's got really good upside. He might be a really good. There's a really good chance he might be a gem. Next up, the Philadelphia Flyers. They have a need. They're a good team. I know it doesn't show on paper or with the scores and their wins and losses category, but they're not a bad team. And you look at their situation now. They got Gostisbehere might be gone. You need a defenseman. And defense wins championships. We've heard that for a while. Saw it with St. Louis, and a great goalie, obviously, too. Which I don't even know if they really... Yeah, they're going to have Carter Hart, right? So, I think we go with Victor Soderstrom here. Yes, you could go with a forward, but I think they got good forward depth. They have Nolan Patrick on their third line. And I think it's safe to say. Scott, you think Nolan Patrick's a bust? Yeah, I think he might be. Hey, he's still young. You got to give him the benefit of the doubt. Pettersson didn't develop until this year, so a nice shot, Eric. He didn't develop until this year, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's still got some time. You never know. But, hey, you could use another defenseman. And Soderstrom, incredible hockey sense from reports. Tremendous skater, similar to Broberg. He is really, really talented. 7 points in 44 games in the Swedish Hockey League, the pro league in Sweden, top league, playing with men, so that's pretty good. He held his own. So yeah, this would be a replacement of Ghost, and even if not, he's going to develop into a really, really great defenseman. So next up, the Minnesota Wild, which also could be a steal, I feel like. Peyton Krebs. This would be a steal if he's still around. There's reports having him in the top 10, but I could see him dropping because of just the amount of talent that we're seeing and the position needs. Payne Krebs, I mean, him in Minnesota would be a steal. Oh, come Get it out of there. Okay. It really would be. The Wild can use the defenseman with an aging core, but centers are really important because you got Eric Stahl and Koivu, both centers that will be gone in a couple years. It's pretty safe to say. I mean, they can't play for that much longer, right? So adding a center like Zegra who could do. Not Zegra, Krebs. What am I saying? Krebs, he's got great offensive abilities, so adding him is really going to solidify them, and he can even develop into a first-line center. I wouldn't be surprised. He's not bad. Like you think 12, you think like, oh, he might be okay. He could be a first-line center. He really can be. He had 68 points in 64 games with the Kootenay Ice. Great IQ, speed, 2A, and a hard-nosed player. This would give him a high ceiling and potentially a great pick for the Wild here. Next up, Scotty got this one. The Florida Panthers. Yes, Spencer Knight. I mean, why the hell not, right? You got Roberto. Yes, Roberto. Roberto Luongo. Getting up there in age. You need a goaltender, and if you need a goaltender, you go with one. I mean, it may be seen as a little bit early, and wow, I had no chance there. Nice dish. You don't want to wait, because if he gets picked, like, oh shit, there goes the best goalie in the draft. I just passed on him. Potential, Carey Price, someone like that. You don't want to pass on him. So the Panthers got the opportunity to pick their goalie for the future. You don't pass on them. They could use a defenseman. They got a great offensive core, but they could use a defenseman like Cam York or Morty Sider. But I just see them picking Knight here. I mean, you could say Knight has, when looking at his player review, he could say his stats are a little bit boosted from playing that US U18 team. Reports have said, though, he's really quick. He's really like he can get effective pushes off his post. Great positioning. So I mean, I don't know that much about goaltending, but that sounds pretty good to me. So right. So yeah, I see them going with Spencer Knight. Next up, we have number 14, the Arizona Coyotes, and you probably have been wondering where the hell is this kid, Vasily Podkolzin. There's a lot of questions with Podkolzin. Or is it Velisi? I don't even know. Vesely. There's a lot of questions with Podkolzin. Oh, get it out. A lot of questions. First question being, he is from Russia, and usually their players sometimes stay in Russia and they don't sign. So, if you're a team and you're thinking about drafting someone like Podkolzin, what if you just missed out on their first-round pick for someone that's not even going to sign? Second off, he didn't really impress this year. He did okay, and with the Russian national team, their world's team, did aight. I mean, he did put up. It's not horrible. He did put up 27 points, 34 games in World Tournament games. Didn't really impress. I didn't put stats up. He didn't really impress. For his not. It wasn't his pro team. I guess his pro team. It wasn't in a pro league. I think it might actually been. I'm not sure. He didn't really impress in the Russian Pro League. It wasn't the KHL. It was like the MHL. He didn't really impress. Oh, shoot. He didn't really impress. So, he doesn't look like yes, he was predicted as a top 5 prospect going into this year, but you've had people like Doc, Cozens, Turcotte, Byram. They all proved themselves. Podkolzin really didn't, play up to their level. He went a little bit above what he was expected, but nothing like the other guys. Oh, shoot. That was a rocket. Nothing like the other guys, so that's why I have him dropping. And given all the questions about him, you might not want to take him so early in the top 10. I think that's a little bit of a risk. And, it may even be a risk for Arizona. They might not even end up with him. But, Arizona, I feel like they'd take a risk here, and they could use a winger like Podkolzin. Podkolzin, I mean, yes, they really do need wingers. They need goal scoring, and he can score, Podkolzin. Like many Russians, he has a great shot. I feel like that's a common thing amongst Russians. Great shot, great playmaking ability. Great size, uses it effectively. Complete player. He was like the Turcotte before Turcotte. He's really good when he's on, but you know, you don't know what to expect. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen, and if he will produce, if he'll sign. I mean, it's a question. It's a question for every prospect. They usually sign though, but you don't even know if he's going to sign. But they do need a forward, and that's why I see Arizona picking an elite goal scorer like Podkolzin. Next up, the Montreal Canadiens select Cam York. There's many mock drafts saying Raphael Lavoie, the Quebec. You know, I don't even know what they call it in Canada. He's French heritage, and the Canadians are from a French-speaking city. So going with Lavoie is what the people want. But when you look at the team needs, wow. Way to go, Wahlstrom. He is going to be a stud, by the way, Oliver Wahlstrom. Mark my words. When you go by the team needs, they need a defenseman desperately of the future. They have Romanov, but picking up another one. Like, look at their center depth. Do they need a center? You're telling me they need a center with already having Deneau, Pelling, Kotkaniemi, and Nick Suzuki. And I think I'm missing one more. Druin's not center, right, Scott? Alright, he's gone. Pretty sure Druin's not. Is Druin a center or no? Winger. I think I'm missing one of the centers. Anyways, they have a great depth of young players, forwards-wise. They could use another defenseman. Cam York, I think, would be a perfect fit. He had 65 points in 63 games as a defenseman on the USU 18 team. Again, adding to a good team. You know, they developed themselves into a pretty good team. Adding an elite defenseman, not elite, I say a good top 4 defenseman like him, it's gonna be really important for their overall benefit of the franchise. Next up, the Colorado Avalanche are on the clock again, and if you're asking why haven't they drafted a second line center, or why haven't they received one in the trade, here's your answer: Alexander Newhook. I can't see them. I mean, Newhook, I could see him going top 15, but even dropping, if he drops to 16, this could potentially be a steal for the Avs, who need a second-line center behind McKinnon. He could always fluctuate to wing. I mean, every NHL player is versatile. They can play any position. I'm talking about forwards usually. They can play wing, center, whatever it is, they could do it. They could use another center, and he is questionable. He played in the BCHL. It's not the elite league in Canada. It's a good league. Cale Makar did play there, so it does prove that those numbers, they may be a little bit boosted, but the players may be legit. He had 102 points in 53 games. That's incredible. What the fuck? Okay, all of a sudden now, they're just insane. Pacioretty's with the Flyers, great. It's because we're at the Barclays Center. Anyways, he's a great player, quick feet, tremendous edges, and he can flat out fly. I mean, I feel like great goal scoring ability, obviously, as you can tell. Get it out of there. So yeah, if he's left, I say they go with him, pick up a second line center like Newhook. Next up on the clock, the Vegas Golden Knights. There we go, Barzy. I have them going with Mortiz Seider. They need a defenseman of the future. They have good depth up front. I mean, it may not be the youngest depth, but they need defensemen to solidify their decor. And I feel like Mortiz Seider, if he's available, they got to go with him. Depth defensively, they need that. It's a desperate need they have. So yeah, Seider, he played only 6 games. He only had 6 points in 29 games in the German Pro League. But he's a great player, obviously, to be getting drafted this high. He thinks the game very highly, and great two-way defenseman. He doesn't produce that much offensively, but he's not, the flair that other guys have. But he can, he can play the game defensively both ways, and thinks it very highly. And I think that's a really important trait for any defenseman. Next up on the clock, we have the Dallas Stars, and I say Raphael Lavoie goes here. This one I was debating, because yes, they could use centers, wings, defenseman depth, or even just like a good defenseman here. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go with Thomas Harley here. This is probably the next best player available defenseman. Shit. Get that. Alright, so Lavoie, center depth, they need some, and he's a big kid, 6'4", puts up 73 points this year in, come on, there you go, in 62 games for Halifax, using his size, but as well as his lethal shot. This would be a nice addition for the Stars. Next up, the 19th overall selection, the Ottawa Senators. I think this could potentially be a steal, whatever team gets him. Arthur Kaliev. 102 points in 67 games with the Hamilton Bulldogs. The Russian left winger could be a really great addition for the Ottawa Senators that are still young. They're definitely in a rebuild right now, but adding a winger like this could speed it up. I know they already have Brady Tkachuk, but you can move Callie up to right wing. You could fluctuate people. I mean, make it happen. Maybe they go with defenseman here. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe they go with a center here. I wouldn't be surprised there. But I think he's best player available. In my opinion, he's got really high upside to put up that many points. Yes, points could be a little bit of a false. Wow, these guys are sniping today. False indicator, but I think this is accurate of this kid. So that would be a really good pickup if. What a hit! Way to go, Zion. So yeah. Hold up. I'm gonna just check to make sure that was right. About Kaliev, sorry. Yes, I was. He did, I forgot to even mention, 51 points, 51 goals. 51 goals, 51 assists. Is that correct? I forgot to mention that. I'm so sorry. That's a really big factor. Why is it not showing up? Yes, 51 goals, 51 assists with the Hamilton Bulldogs. I mean, that is impressive. I mean, anytime he gets 50 goals is impressive, as well as 50 assists. So, he could do it all. Great pick, whoever gets him. He could be a steal anywhere. He's really underrated. Oh, good save, Zion. Next up, 20th. Oh, good save. I'm so in position there. 20th overall, the Winnipeg Jets. After trading away Jacob Trouba, they got this pick from the Rangers. I think the Rangers won that trade. Even the Winnipeg, though, they get rid of a guy who wasn't going to sign, so they get something out of him. It's not bad. Thomas Harley to the Winnipeg Jets. This is the defenseman I was talking about. They need another defenseman. Bless you. They need another defenseman. He's best defenseman available. 58 points, 68 games for the Mississauga Steelheads. And he's great offensively, but needs work defensively. Next up, as Michigan just booked their ticket to the College World Series Finals. Nice job, Wolverines. Next up, hold up, I need to focus. All right, should be good. 21st overall, this is where we get a steal. Bobby Brink. I could see him being a steal. But the Penguins going with Bobby Brink here could be a steal. They could use a defenseman, but getting a young winger, I feel like, is a really big need. They're getting older, so they need prospects. You got Gensel, but he's not a prospect, but he's young. I'm talking about young talent. But he's a Minnesota native like Gensel. That was a steal as well. Gensel was a steal. He's from Minnesota as well. Just a coincidence. No, Bobby Brink, really good winger. Played in the USHL this year. Good save. Let me just focus. Sorry, guys. All right. He put up 35 goals for 68 points in the USHL. I forgot to put the amount of games. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, guys. Let me just focus this out. No. Get it. Get it out. Get it out. Okay. I'll just check that really quickly. I'm sorry, guys. So I'll make this as accurate as possible. but I think he will be a steal. They say that he needs to work on his speed and his skating ability, but he does have the talents that you need offensively to be an elite player. Yeah, he put up 68 points at 43 games. Really impressive. So he's got a great shot, as I said. Can work on his game defensively and as a skater. Next up, 22nd overall, the Los Angeles Kings. I think they need a defenseman to add to their core, and they go with Ville Heinola. Sorry if I butchered that. Finnish-born defenseman, 14 points in 34 games in the Liga. He has great offensive IQ and skill as a defenseman, and this could really add to their core, which is really light in Los Angeles. Next up, New York Islanders select. Scott, you said his name before. Do you remember? You know, the Asian guy.
Oh. Nick Suzuki.
His brother.
Ryan Suzuki.
Yes, you are right. The New York Islanders will select a Ryan Suzuki, who may be a steal at this point, 23rd overall. He dropped for me because different.
Question, right?
Yeah, you did. Really, you're acing your finals. The different needs are causing him to drop. I feel like in this draft. Sorry. He's a great skater and playmaker. Had great hands as well and vision, and had 75 points in 65 games for the Barrie Colts. And they could use centers, the Islanders, add to that core, and this could be a potentially steal. I feel like a lot of these guys in the 20s could be steals. They're not certain about what they'll be. Many of them could be busts. You never know. Next up, we have 24th overall. The Predators select. Oh wait, I thought they sent me down to Bridgeport. I was gonna. Oh man, I would have flipped. The Predators select Philip Tomasino, the center. Also drops position needs, and he'll be a great piece for the center core of the Preds. Very versatile and dynamic offensively, and with elite hands and goal scoring ability. Put up 72 points, and 34 of those were goals in only 67 games for the Niagara Ice Dogs. So this could be a great piece to a team that is ready for a playoff run. He may not be ready for it, but to help them get through the years after that playoff run, this could be a great piece. Let's go, boys. Come on. Next up, the Washington Capitals with the 25th overall pick will select Samuel Poulin. Left winger / center, plays a great two-way game with few weaknesses. 76 points in 67 games in the QMJHL, and slots nicely for the Caps' future, who could use some winger depth. And especially after Ovechkin retires, which I don't know when that will be, they could use some more wingers. I mean, a winger to take his position. Yeah, it may be another 20 years till he retires. He's so busy with that party after the Stanley Cup, even a year after. Partying, and he got that ring. You gotta love people like that. 26th overall pick, the disappointing Calgary Flames will select. Hold up, I believe it was Tobias Bjornfoot, right? Yes, it was. Bjornfoot, I don't know. Bjornfoot. A good save. Get away from me. Oh my gosh, get it out. Okay, Bjornfoot, defenseman. They could use defenseman here. They got this pick, I believe, from Boston. Put up 22 points in the Swedish Elite League, or Super Elite League, in good stuff. In Sweden, so he's a great two-way defenseman. They could use this as their D-court is a little bit older. They do have Hannafin, but they could use a couple other pieces here or there to just solidify the team as a whole. Similar to them, we have the Tampa Bay Lightning, another team that that has the pieces but just can't win, as always. That was, I don't know if you guys watched the NHL awards. I don't know who it was that opened it, but it was really funny. He's like, they set records, but they also set records in the playoffs, becoming the first team to get swept and win the President's Trophy. It's pretty funny. Just random. Like I said. Also, I'm really happy that Austin Matthews is on the cover. Have to mention that. So pumped. I'll give my predictions on what it's about and when my reviews will be when they release the content that's going to be in the game when that comes out. So yeah, I have the Tampa Bay Lightning going with that. Could have went in. Matthew Robertson, defenseman, 6'4", plays a physical and offensive brand, putting 33 points up in 52 games for the Edmonton Oil Kings this year. The Lightning don't really need prospects, but they can use some depth defensively. They have the pieces now for a playoff run, but I think eventually one of these guys that's a great piece is gonna fall because they're gonna run into cap hell, as if they haven't already. So it's gonna be a good piece to add if he's available. He could be a solid player, 6'4" defenseman. Bowen Byram, there he is. I'm wild right now. It's definitely not gonna go there tonight unless they trade. Next up, the Carolina Hurricanes will select Jacob Pelletier. Sorry. Next, so he's gonna get 89 points. He had 89 points in 65 games. The QMJHL. I forgot to mention. I'd say only like 3 or 4 players will be NHL ready from this draft class. I say it was the first 4. Probably not Turcotte. I'd say Bowen Byram and then Kakko and Hughes. Should have mentioned that earlier. These are all like future prospects. But Pelletier, 89 points, 65 games in the QMJHL, proving his offensive upside. And Carolina could use him as he could play both left wing and center, 2 positions that they could use them depth on, and potentially he could develop into the top 6 forward. You never know. Next up, the 29th overall pick, the Anaheim Ducks, and they will select Ryan Johnson, defenseman from the USHL. Great IQ and great skater. The Ducks need a defenseman. This kid put up 25 points in 54 games in the USHL. This could be a great ad for them. 30th overall, the Boston Bruins selecting, in my opinion, Scott. How tall is Zdeno Chara?
6'9".
Oh, really? Oh, this kid is 6'6", so he's pretty tall. Zdeno Chara 2.0? Question mark? I don't know. It's really rare to come across that breed. No, he's 6'6". Alex Vlasic, cousin to Mark-Edward Vlasic. So Alex Vlasic played with the US U18 team, put up 27 points in 61 games. Big kid who lays the body, and he could also produce, as proved by these stats. And he fits the Boston repertoire. Big. Oh shit! Crap. Sorry, boys. Fits the Boston repertoire. A big defenseman, grindy. I mean, they don't have that right now, but that's what they're known to be—a big, grinding team. This kid would fit that. So now, last but not least, the Buffalo Sabres are on the clock, and they will take, this is from the St. Louis trade, by the way, which could have been great. They had St. Louis was 31st. Buffalo could have gotten that first overall pick. They finished that bet, but they had to win the cup. Center, Connor McMichael. He plays a smart 2-way game, and he had 72 points, 6-7 games for one night, and he gives the Sabres more center depth. So that's a conclusion of the draft. Scott, any bold predictions for tonight?
Bowen Byram goes 3.
Okay, I can't agree with that. If Kirby Dach goes there, I'm going to be really pissed because I just don't see a pass on Turcotte. I mean, he's too good. Too good to pass on. That's the toughest pick of the draft, I feel like. They got to get that right. I feel like they don't go with defensemen there. But you know what? One thing to look out for tonight, as I mentioned to Scott earlier, is Scott's favorite player. PK Subban is in trade rumors with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And as a Leafs fan, my second team, no. Just don't do that. We need Mitch Marner. Yes, we need a we need defensemen, but don't let go of Mitch Marner like that. Okay, so that's gonna be the conclusion of this. I'll see you boys. Peace. See you guys.